Is college worth the effort, or is it a complete scam? Let's find out. Alright guys, so obviously I haven't made a video in quite some time, and I apologize for that. There were some extenuating circumstances that prevented me from making a video, particularly me getting sick and me being on vacation. But now all that is done and through, and we have many weeks and months of break to just focus on what we need to and get grinding. I think I actually have exactly 95 days of break ahead of me, so that is a lot, obviously. So this should probably be my longest streak of video making yet, and sometimes it's honestly good to take a break. I really felt that I needed one. I was getting kind of burnt out, but now we're good to go and we're back in action. So this video will not only be me telling you guys if I think college is worth it or not, but it will also be kind of a guide for me to like voice my actual thoughts on college, because I am very torn on the issue. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm gonna be talking about like different parts of college separately, and like just explaining kind of my overall college experience without getting into too much detail. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is obviously the reason why you go to college, which is the education system. And just for reference, I am a rising sophomore, so I've only completed 1 year of college, which was my freshman year, and I do feel like there was a lot of content for me to kind of grasp college overall, and I'm pretty qualified to speak on the issue. So without further ado, let's just jump into the education. So obviously, just like with any schooling system, you're gonna have like those bad classes and those good classes, the good professors and the bad professors. But I'm gonna take this semester by semester. So within the first semester, I had 5 classes. 4 of them were regular 3-credit classes. 1 of them was a 1-credit class. So in total, I believe that is 13 credits, if my math doesn't fail me. I think that is 13. But basically, we had these classes, and I wasn't actually at college that much for a semester because personally, I was getting used to the entire system, so I was kind of hesitant to jump straight into it. I kind of was more on the standoffish side, I guess you can say. And I believe 2 of these classes were completely online. So here's the thing with online classes. For me personally, I cannot learn well online with classes specifically. Like, if I'm teaching myself a certain skill, like maybe video editing, online learning is fine. But I find in stuff that I'm not particularly interested in, like some sort of class in school, which can usually be pretty dry, obviously, I find that the online methodology of learning is actually not very effective, because you can't interact with the kids in your class that much, if at all, which definitely hinders you. So Intro to Business and Intro to Information Technology, I believe, were the 2 classes that were completely online. So they were intro classes, but that doesn't mean that they're not difficult. And I did pass both of them with a pretty decent grade, but there were a few projects within them that were very challenging, particularly the final project for Intro to Business, which basically required you to make an entire business plan on your own. The good news was that he didn't grade it too harshly, so it did actually help us learn how to like build a business in some ways, but some of the parts of it were very difficult. And I definitely recall that being one of the more stressful projects of my college experience so far. As far as the in-person classes, basically one of them was really bad because a teacher was basically always absent and very out to get us, so I ended up doing very poorly in that class, which was really the only bad grade I got throughout both semesters. And the bad news about that is that this class didn't even have anything to do with my major, which is information technology for the time being. And it was basically a random core class that I was dropped into without really my wanting it or needing it. That is definitely a huge downside with college. You have to take these core classes that are frequently insanely useless. I'm talking stuff like volcanoes or like I can't even think of any off the top of my head, but this class was logic, reasoning, persuasion. So I assumed it would be like a debate kind of class, and it definitely was not. It was more of a math-based class. I'm not very good at math for the most part, and I didn't do good in it. So that was definitely a bummer. The other two classes were pretty decent. The one credit class was actually very helpful because it was basically an introduction to college kind of class where the teacher was like one of us. Like the teacher was actually a student in her senior year of college, and she was explaining to us some of the main ways to get internships, to learn like different skills at the college, like how to get a job and stuff. So that was a great class overall, no complaints there. And I'm gonna start going a little bit faster, otherwise we'll be here all day. But basically the second semester was very similar, except I didn't have any online classes. The classes overall were better, and I'd say it was probably a better semester overall. Besides the weather, because the weather was absolutely horrible during the second semester in February and March, but obviously that has nothing to do with college itself. That's more of a Northeast issue. So definitely we expect to be in a lot of cold environments if you are going to a college in the Northeast or somewhere cold. And this sounds silly, but it actually isn't, because in high school you don't really have to be outside that much, but at college you actually have to be like out and about, sometimes in the freezing cold. Like I remember we went to College Avenue. By the way, I go to Rutgers University in New Brunswick. I don't know why I didn't say that up until now. But basically the main part of the college is called College Avenue, which is essentially like the place where everyone goes to party and all that. So we're going to get into that in a sec, don't worry guys. This is like the boring part. We're about to wrap it up. But what was I saying? Oh yes, so if you're going to a school like Rutgers and you're on College Avenue in the winter, it's brutal. But it is what it is, I guess. And basically I would sum up the education system as good but flawed, because some of the classes were pretty impactful, but some of them were completely useless, and the ability to retain the information is really no better than high school, and you pretty much forget a bulk of what you learned after the end of the test. So definitely a bit of a bummer, but now we're going to get into some of the better parts about college. So let's start that off right now with like the social aspect, which I'm sure a lot of you guys were waiting for. So basically my social experience at college freshman year was pretty complicated. Like we had a lot of friends. Me and my roommate had a lot of friends in the beginning, which we kept until about February or March, where a big fight broke out between a lot of my friends. People started taking sides, and it was about like nothing important, like just people saying dumb stuff to each other. I was definitely a part of it. At the end, there was a little situation with me as well. But basically, go into college expecting that the friends that you make at the beginning will not be necessarily the friends that you come out of the year with, because when you're so close with all these people, physically and emotionally, like you're in the same proximity and you tell them everything, there's a very high chance that stuff can go wrong. Unfortunately, that's just human nature. Unless you get like pretty lucky or you're just very even keeled temperamentally, then you're gonna probably run into some backlash from those around you. So don't really focus on that too much because it's part of the journey. I'm sure in the coming years of college I'll make more friends that will actually stick throughout my life. I don't really see myself keeping in touch with a lot of the people that I met. That being said, the memories we formed during these times were definitely priceless. We had endless amount of free time and fun and all that stuff, so that's definitely one thing that college is great for. Building social skills, I would say that's probably the best feature of college. So I think those are like the main two factors that we're going to talk about: education and social life. So basically, what I'm going to say is this: college being worth it is really subjective to you. I think that it's definitely overpriced, and the food, especially at Rutgers, is absolutely atrociously bad. But besides the food being bad and the fact that the price tag is a little bit too hefty in my opinion, it's definitely a great experience that will make you grow as a person a lot, because you are away from home. So you have to kind of figure out how to live on your own, feed yourself, make friends and all that, do your homework without any like distractions around you. Distractions are definitely very, very prevalent in college, especially if you have a friend group that's very active and likes to party. For me personally, my friend group didn't really go to College Avenue that much, but there were many days where we stayed up till 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning, so definitely a bit of a problem there. It will definitely throw off your schedule. So don't expect to be like completely on point from the beginning of college to the end. There will be times where you feel completely overwhelmed, as with anything in life, I guess. But that's basically where I'm going to end this video off. If you enjoyed it, be sure to share it with a friend who's maybe considering college or just about to go into college. And with that being said, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys soon.